Good evening, and welcome to the show that proves sport is all about entertainment, usually at someone else's expense. And stay with us to sample all the thrills of top-level competition, the kind of high-octane excitement which gripped this judge at the 1998 Commonwealth Games. Okay. Well, what about the compelling drama of Wimbledon? But surely no spectator could fail to be riveted on the last day of the football season.
Well, you can be laid back, can't you?
I'm sorry, I just can't understand that. Not when action like this is on offer, a selection of own goals from domestic football, full of entertainment value, and the kind of finishing which is unbelievable.
Armstrong tries to turn Babb, who is having a little tug at his shirt there. But Armstrong, bullish. Oh, 2-0 to Spurs! And a highly unfortunate own goal. Good play by Armstrong, bursting down the right-hand side, holding off Babb. And Carragher with the touch, put under pressure by Les Ferdinand.
Before the war, Dulwich were the kings of amateur football. Their FA Cup record isn't quite as impressive. They haven't reached round 2 for 50 years, and I'll have to wait even longer. To make things worse, they went out to an own goal. Tony Houghton won't be watching that on video too often.
Northampton denied Lancaster their first bit of FA Cup glory for 25 years when Thompson headed into his own goal to make it 1-1.
It's Hodges again. Chipped in. Oh, it's an own goal! Blake! Well, the corner was half cleared. It went back to Hodges. He recrossed it, and Noel Blake fired that into his own net.
Too long. Oh, is it? Oh, goodness me. Off the head of Lindekom. And suddenly Middlesbrough are back in front. Just a quick look up. Free kick that looked to be too long, with the goalkeeper come to collect it, and Lindekom nodded it past him.
Bremner. Shaw. Oh, and it came off Palmer. It was crossed in by Des Bremner. Gary Shaw got a flick header on it, and poor Jeff Palmer. It went in off him.
With 4 minutes left, it's all odds on a second replay, until Thompson plays a ball back to Brannigan, only to find that he'd taken a wrong bearing.
Sutton in the centre, so is Ward, so is Janssen now. Oh, Southgate, it's an own goal! It's an own goal by the Villa captain. Well, it's David Dunn over on the right who gets the cross in, and Gareth Southgate, well, Michael Oakes was coming for it in actual fact.
Poor old Gareth Southgate, huh? A man who knows all too well there are times when the fickle finger of a sporting fate can get right up your nose. A fact which is confirmed by this next bunch of people who reached for the stars and came down to earth with a bump.
2:24.81. They've slowed fractionally. They're just over a second slower than Denmark, that went through the 3,000-metre mark in 2:23.57. And Denmark, oh, and there's a crash, and all the American team are down. That is an absolute disaster.
Bit of a technical hitch there.
A chance. Oh, well, he slipped.
And Mr. Thomas didn't see him behind him going down and fell backwards over him. And it's all over.
Gone Wales into the leg to take the direct route.
And she's in trouble.
Well, he's well over the knee on the tarmac, and he's having a rough ride. And it's on the grass, and he's thrown it away. He ran wide there. Unbelievable stuff. We're talking about Rodney Knapp and the Kawasaki.
Well, a touch of Fred Carno's out there.
Well, John Embry really is the most inelegant sweeper I think that I've probably ever seen in the game.
30-15. and this is the advanced party of the whole field.
And this could be a tremendous sprint, but as I speak, the yellow jersey, Peter Verbeeken, touches a wheel and goes down. And none of his teammates have waited for him to give them their bike so he could regain the field and stay in yellow. Well, what's £2,000? Just dump it on the floor. He's totally disgusted. Look at the expression on his face. Do you speak Flemish?
Now, if we're not careful, the cry of to horse will be echoing around these corridors. We're turning to tales of the turf, where not only jockeys but commentators can find themselves riding for a fall. It's clear what the perpetrator here was trying to say when he observed, the racecourse is as level as a billiard ball. Somehow it just didn't come out right. What's beyond question is that the sport of kings throws up some right royal bloomers.
An exciting prospect. That's towards the left as we picture the picture as we see them. He's just taken a turn now, and that's it. They're running. There were. Tipping Tim coming there very strongly on the near side with his white face there. Tipping Tim jumps very much to the left there and loses a lot of ground in the process. In fact, he's run out. He's jumped the hurdle. He's out of it.
And they take it virtually as one Tramadon between these two. Then Roach's Roost closed up, and behind that is Tyrian Princess and Salford Raffaella. And it looks as if Willie the Moon has gone one side of a running rail. All the others have gone, all the others with the exception of Hallowed, have gone the wrong way, gone the inside way, and now they're going off in pursuit. But it's Willie the Moon that's going on from Hallowed in second place.
Turan and Bashaga has stayed in the stall.
Adrian was riding a horse, Access Sun, in the yellow colours for Jeff King in the last race, which was over 2 3/4 miles, almost 3 circuits at Fontwell. But after 2 circuits, Adrian thought that he was on the run-in. He rides out Access Sun for second place. There he is, riding for his life on the left, but in fact making no impression on the leader, only to find as they come up to the line here, and there is the winning post. He's just passing the post now, only to find to his horror that the other runners were carrying on. Well, that mistake cost him a fine of £400.
So 7 runners now in the absence of Honeyline. And let's go with them, for goodness sake, because they're running. In the absence of Flower Bowl, I should say. An accompanist looks as though he's the early leader, but unless our cameraman can penetrate the mist, and he's really got a virtually impossible task at the moment, then we're all in the same boat, seeing nothing. Yes, they're being called in. 6-1 over Owenson, and the starter says no, 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 no. And a little trouble in rear there.
All happy, come along.
All happy, and they are, and running. These winners of 36 races between them, except, unfortunately, for Pucker Major.
And to make sense of all this, I could do no better than call on the woman who, as those of us steeped in the lore of the turf would say, comes from good stock. Father is an illustrious trainer, while she herself can number the champion ladies jockey title among her many achievements, although perhaps the most notable of them all is that for the last 2 years she's put up with Willie Carson when presenting the BBC's racing coverage. So, welcome, Clare Balding. Now, just before we start, a very important question. What's going to win the 2:30 at Newmarket on Saturday?
I knew you'd come up with something like that.
Well, I'd like
You're
to
a big
know.
gambler, I know that. I'm the worst tipster in the world, I have to admit. Absolutely awful. Whatever I say will finish third. Always finishes third.
Yeah, I'm like that with the Eurovision Song Contest. I never have a clue. And what's it like working with Willie Carson on the box?
I think when he was a jockey, somebody said to him halfway through his career, you're going to be an absolute natural on the box, but they didn't realise that he would quite literally have to be on a box. Because he seriously is, he comes up to probably my navel. Not that I've ever tested it, but...
I shouldn't.
We have to get a certain size box for him, But occasionally, I mean, you know, as the BBC being the way the BBC is, we just use boxes that we would use in everyday work. But occasionally they come up with one that's slightly too big so that he's taller than me. And then we have to, no, he says, this one's far too tall. I can't look her in the eye, I can't look her in the eye. Yes. But as long as he's sort of vaguely on a level with me and just slightly shorter, it's fine. He's great fun to work with, a wonderful sense of humour.
But that shrieking laughter.
He's died down that a little bit. I mean, normally when I stuff a sock in his mouth, he shuts up.
I think that's probably the best solution.
Or threaten to push him off the box, that's not
Or knock him about a bit.
Oh, definitely do that. I think I'm in control.
Anything you shouldn't have said in your long career on television? I mean, you must have been on it for 2 years.
At least 2.5 years, yeah. When I moved into television, Julian Wilson used to present the racing, and you find a way always of describing a horse in a way that would make people who don't understand racing know what you're talking about. So you're always trying to draw in the fringe viewer. And there was a filly called Home Magic running at Royal Ascot, and we'd had, as you know, Royal Ascot is sort of half fashion, half racing. And Eve Pollard had been working on the team the day before, and she's very, very good at the job doing the fashion, but she's got quite a large personality. And when this filly was cantering down to the start, I said, just have a look at this filly head on. She's got a chest on her that Eve Pollard would be proud of. And I turned sideways, expecting Julian to say something. He was doubled up over the side of the balcony, going, what has she said? We won't have a fashion commentator left tomorrow.
You were the champion lady riders. I mean, you come not only of good stock, but you've got a good track record.
Yeah, I rode for a couple of years when I was 17 and 18. I struggled always with my weight, as you can probably tell.
Over the jumps?
No, on the flat. On the flat. Oh, yeah, I was always off running with bin liners on me, trying to sweat off those vital pounds. I wasn't, you know, naturally short and light like Willie Carson. But I did enjoy it. I had a great time, had a few runs.
Did you ever come up against the Princess Royal in your...
Yeah, I did. I did. A couple of times. I rode against her a few times, but I didn't cover myself in glory in a race at Beverley when she was on the hot favourite, and I think I was on the second favourite. And it was a 1.5 mile race, and we set off, and after 2 furlongs, my horse jumped a track on the course and cut across. Now, I thought I was last. I thought I was at the back, because that was obviously what I was intending to do. But I hadn't realised that she was actually behind me and had been quite a long way behind me, had made up the ground. So I heard this screaming and shouting. I thought, oh, my God. You know, I've just carved somebody up, but at least it's not the Princess Royal, because she'd never speak like that. And made up about 4 lengths in the race, won the race by that far, photo finish, short head back to second, dead heat for second, she dead heated for second, and head back to fourth. Came into the winner's enclosure, and they hadn't announced the photo. My mother said, do you know what you've done, you idiot? I said, yes, yes, I've won. And she said, wipe that stupid grin off your face, you've just carved up the Princess Royal. And I was so frightened to go back into the changing room that I sort of hung around the steward's room, sort of thinking, well, I'll try and have a look at the video, and then I'll go back in there when everything's calmed down. She was very good about it later. She won the race a year on.
I don't think it's going to be Dame Clare.
No, I don't think so.
You won't get fed up with horse racing?
There's a danger that I might get bored with doing...
You'll certainly get bored with Willie Carson.
Oh, no, I'd never get bored with Little Willie, no.
Little Willie.
Little Willie. No, I don't. I think I could get bored with the day-to-day races, but I'll never get bored with the good races, because they are always different and exciting. And the people are nice, you know.
Good. Claire, it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us. Clare Balding. Well, as Claire stretches a shapely fetlock in preparation for the journey home and a can of Coke, we can reassure her that it isn't just in racing that bruises and bumps are part of the daily grind.
The power play is over. The French and the Japanese have 5 men each on the ice, plus their goalie, of course. And there's a high sticks call, I think. Dubé will disappear. Oh, that was high sticks, was it not? I would have thought so.
Schenk goes through the quickest, 17.99. Timmer, 18.35. Oh, and Schenk is the first to fall in the event. And tears to mix with the ice.
Pain for Mark Butcher. This was very powerfully struck too. You'll see the shot coming. Tries this time to get the feet up and out of the way, but Steve Waugh's hit it so hard into the ground that, well, he's got no chance.
Baranik's going to get that puck back any way he can. That's going to be a slashing call. Slashing call made against Baranik in the high stick. There's Moravich, and there's the follow-up. And Troshinsky will go for that. There were ice hockey players would be without the ice bag.
Once they're over this part, it is the worst, but again, it isn't quite over.
Oh, my goodness me, what a crash there. Dear, oh dear, the roads are dry, but obviously the pressure in the tyres is not giving you terrible adhesion on the road, or, well, he really has gone down. He slid across the road, he looks to be okay, but, oh, Grady, didn't he go? He slid right into the barrier, and there's a problem with the front wheel.
Oh, bye-bye. This is a dangerous game. And it's a dirty game. But when you're winning, it doesn't seem so dangerous and it doesn't seem so dirty.
I think it's somebody else's shoe.
One for the environmental health officers there, I fancy, but the unfortunate fate of America's Brandy Burton does reinforce the suspicion there's nothing more likely to dampen hopes of sporting success than the old H2O.
Looking, lean to the left means it's to the right. It is indeed.
This is his third shot. Another one's gone in the water.
Started off with toe hold tricks, then moved on to the hand tricks, and he's progressing through those very quickly. And cutting for a back flip, over the weight, unable to hold it.
16 going to the water.
John Beichel coming up in the second, Malinowski in third. John Davis not up with the leaders at the moment. Evans McGarker slightly ahead of him. That's a bad fall.
This. There are a few basic essentials when you're seeking sporting success. Talent and application probably come top of the list, closely followed by a clear sense of exactly where you're heading. Oh, 2 out of 3 is not bad.
So Farmer already a very healthy lead from Alan Batson, who almost threw it away, runs wide, he put a foot down, he's on the grass. He has to keep it in a straight line.
Into a tight left-hander for the final time. 2 Polish riders hit the straw bales and down they go. What a work that one.
That second place he got in the downhill combine will have helped him all. He's got to go right through it. You can't go through the two. Well, that's one way of doing it.
Hamp Hadson's top horse, the developer, had to be sidelined and missed the Grand Prix yesterday. And whoops, this could be difficult. I don't think he'll get anything for the twiddle on the top.
This is the unified #1 team on their second run with a new bob formation. It's the upside down, back to front method. It could catch on.
Fifth, then it's Philippe Adams in 6th position. There he is. And that's Damon Hill straight on at the chicane, and it's lucky for him that that block is polystyrene.
Drivers, use caution. A horse coming toward you. They pace through the stretch the first time.
It'll be Andy Mill. Here he comes, sweeping in, down a little dip. And the skis went very high there. Mill coming into the dip, swinging out now. Right-handed. And where's he gone?
Drivers, use caution. The horse is still coming around toward you on the backstretch. Kremlin has the lead.
And now, by way of complete contrast, a man who knows exactly where he's going. Onwards and upwards, per ardua ad astra. But thankfully, he stopped off here to tell us what today's top sporting personalities have to say for themselves, or at least what he has to say on their behalf. So welcome, John Culshaw. Good to see you. Yeah, good man. Now, of course, the biggest story of the year has been the New England managership, hasn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I think one of the big talking points through all of that was the great deal that Kevin Keegan managed to get for himself. Although, you know, some people think the whole thing is, you know, outrageous. But hey, outrageousness is just what we like here on the Jerry Springer Show. And on the program today, we have Kevin Keegan. Now, Kevin has been managing the England side, but he's been cheating on them by managing Fulham at the same time. So, oh my goodness gracious. Apparently, Kevin says that the chairman, Mr. Al Fayed, really reminds him of Poe, the green one from the Teletubbies, and so he just doesn't have the heart to leave. So we'll take a look at this and take care of yourself and each other.
Hey, nice, nice. Larger-than-life, outrageous personalities in sport. Like Prince Nassim Hamed now. He's entering a challenging period in his career.
Absolutely, he really is. And I mean, Prince Nassim has always been great with the hype, and he always talks a great fight, and he's always there. Oh, baby, I'm just the best. I'm just so good. I'm Prince, but I'm gonna be king. I'm telling you, when I let these rocket launches go, KO, I'm just the best. Oh, baby, I'm just too good.
It's all very well. It's all very well, but I think it's wise to taunt your opponents.
Well, so long as it's not too nasty. So long as it's not, you know, too degrading, I think it's all part of the game, really. But, you know, Frank Bruno, you know, a lovely, genuine guy in his own right. I mean, maybe he would have benefited from taunting his opponents just that little bit. I think Frank Skinner once suggested, you know, I think, you know, a great gimmick for Frank Bruno would be that when he punches people, I think he should, you know, do his laugh at the same time. I think that'd be quite good, that, really.
And yeah, I agreed with, you know, Frank, when he come out with that one, you know, I mean, because, not me. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's much more better, you know, in the fight if you can just sort of go, you know, with Lennox Lewis coming on to you and just go, you know, nice rhythm going, get him out there, Terry, you know. I've started you off now.
You can't help yourself, can you?
No.
These British stars, they've got to bring new people into the sport?
Oh, well, I think with the example that they set, no doubt about that at all. In fact, I think it's happened already from some quite unexpected quarters. I mean, I bet you didn't know Del Winton's become a boxer. I can exclusively reveal. Looking forward to my first fight. I'll keep my opponent at bay behind a good stiff jab, I can tell you. But, oh, dear me, it's going to be so embarrassing at the weigh-in, stripping down to my smalls. Oh, my Lord. Have to wear my familiar Rupert Bear boxing shorts, then I'll feel much more comfortable. That won't be so bad.
Yes, but the boxing skill.
Oh, shockers.
Oh, boxing skill will come in handy.
Yes, a very useful talent to have, I would have thought. And you can just imagine one scenario in particular.
Yes, hello there. And next on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, our next contestant, Prince Nassim Hamed. OK, so Prince Nassim, this is your question for £125,000. You can still phone a friend. You can still ask the audience. You've still got 50-50. So here it is. Take a look at the question and tell us what you would like to do.
Well, basically, I'd like you to shut up and just give me the £1 million right now. Otherwise, I'm going to knock you spark out. It's getting on my nerves, man. I'm telling you. Oh, baby.
John Culshaw, ladies and gentlemen. And now as John disappears into the gathering gloom, trying to remember who he is without looking at the label, it's time for me to talk cricket. Yes, the glories of the summer game, which over the years has produced such glories as that unforgettable moment when Michael Holding was bowling to Peter Willey. Just think about that one. And this memorable observation from the great Brian Johnson. Ray Illingworth has just relieved himself at the pavilion end. For that matter, this incisive insight from Trevor Bailey. The Port Elizabeth ground is more like a circle than an oval. It's long and square. That's cleared that one up.
Oh, dear, dear. The spectators could see it coming seconds before the players could. His head's pointing the right way at the moment, anyway.
Short, hammered away, just, well, he's going to get forfeit. It's a classic error as the ball is hit like this. Every time it's hit this way, it's going to go just a wee bit at the end. And Michael Kasprowicz ends up begging for mercy.
Oh, well, there we go. We've heard of the instruction to let the bat go, and Barnett's forced the issue. First time I think I've seen the bat go further than the ball.
He dropped the ball and Russell dropped his bat.
I think Russell probably just got one on the knee there as well, which hasn't done him any good. Probably just caught above the knee roll. Maybe a little bit higher than the knee roll.
I think it actually got in between the knee rolls, Raymond. That's a good stroke. Probably won't go for 4 because it's quite soggy down that part of the ground. However, comma. Oh dear.
And now, I'll bid you farewell with a song. No, you should be so lucky. It's a plaintive reverie which carried Scotland's hopes into the 1982 World Cup and straight back home again after the first round. So don't have nightmares when you're reminded of I Have a Dream.
If dreams come true, then Bonnie Scotland, I will play for you. I hope and I pray that if I do, then Bonnie Scotland will soar away, go for you.
Terry Wogan presents his breakfast show on BBC Radio 2 every weekday morning. Wake up to Wogan Monday to Friday from 7:30 on 88 to 91 FM.